Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for this first ever Venture Capitalist Ask Me Anything session. My name is Ajay Manglani, and I had the honor and privilege to lead marketing volunteering team and effort on behalf of TiEcon2024. And I would like to invite and introduce two very special people today. One, Navin Chaddha, the managing partner of Mayfield Fund. Mayfield has been around for over 50 years, and Navin has so many accomplishments and achievements. If I start listing all of them, maybe this entire time of the session will be taken away. So I'm going to try to do justice in a short time. He is a venture capitalist who has won 15 times the Midas list ranking. He has this consistent ability to pick winners in the startups world. Those have not only gone on to become successful exit companies once, but twice, and sometimes even more. And one thing that I like most about Navin is he, at least in my eyes and what I have seen and observed him over almost 5 years now from a distance, is he is founder's favorite venture capitalist. And remember, I said favorite, not friendly, because he does the right thing while being their true partner. The reason we wanted to have Navin for this session and this type of session is we at TiE Silicon Valley are committed to both entrepreneurs and innovators as well as the investors community, and we see ourselves as a bridge connecting both sides, and that's why this session is very important to us. Interviewing Navin will be Tanya Dua. She is an editor, a reporter with a distinguished background. She currently works for LinkedIn. And she reports all things AI and technology. And before this, she was part of Business Insider's team. And we are so delighted that both of them are going to talk a little bit, but more importantly, going to give you the opportunity to ask them any questions related to startup entrepreneurship funding. Now, before I leave the stage and invite them, I'm going to make an important announcement. If you have a Hua app, which I'm assuming you all should, please go. There is a session of Navin and Tanya you will click, and there is a Q&A button there. You can put your Q&A questions in that Q&A. It will directly come to us, and we can ask them. At the same time, I highly encourage everybody to please come next to that mic, ask your questions directly to Navin as well. You can choose one or the both ways of doing that as well. And without further ado, I would like to invite both Navin Chaddha and Tanya Dua on the stage. Can I have a big round of applause for both of them, please?
So those of you that were here yesterday, you saw Navin interviewing Jensen. Well, the roles have reversed now. And it's his turn to be on the spotlight.
Yeah, actually, it's not me. It's my twin, the digital twin.
We'll get to digital twins and avatars briefly. But thank you, everyone, so much for being here. Thank you, Navin, for doing this. You've built, founded, grown 3 companies, and then switched gears to becoming an investor. What motivated you to make that shift?
Actually, that was my twin, not me. Okay, jokes apart. So I think Jensen mentioned yesterday that he didn't know he would be an entrepreneur. Like, I didn't know I was going to be an entrepreneur, but accidents happen in life. You start with something, and another door opens. So that's what happened when I became an entrepreneur. I did 3 companies. I was just studying at Stanford, and the internet happened, and we invented video streaming. And that led to a company, that led to another one. So actually, to become a VC, I had gone into a venture firm to work on my 4th startup. And one thing led to the other, and I became a VC. So it's accidental stuff. You don't plan, keep doing good things happen. You grab the next opportunity and keep going.
So you've had some very good luck for something that happened as a serendipitous thing.
Always.
60 companies plus you've invested in. Out of them, 18 plus have gone to become public, 27 plus have been acquired. AI is a huge focus now. Mm-hmm. What's the secret sauce? Is it a golden gut, or is it, this really smart analytical framework? Whatever it is,
Yeah.
Share your secret sauce.
I think like I wasn't trained on giving the answer, but I think in life, it's actually a lot of luck and a lot of timing. And my belief is it's all about picking the right people, because if you pick the right people and they get lucky in picking the right markets, wonder happens. And that happens maybe 10-20% of the time. Great people, they find the right market and greatness happens. 70-80% of the time, it's a struggle. But great people will pivot and find the right market opportunity. So VCs only look as good as the entrepreneur sitting in the audience. So our job is, how do we just partner with great people and help them along the way so that they can create greatness? And as a result, like we show up on some list, which is only paper, versus these people create real jobs, real industries.
So for the benefit of all the entrepreneurs here, you write checks. Everyone here probably wants to get some time with you. If they were to be able to get inside your head, what are the 3 questions you would ask any entrepreneur you meet that they can prep for?
I think the first question I always ask entrepreneurs is like, why are they doing this? It needs to be authentic. You just can't be an entrepreneur because you read somewhere. It's hard, right? Jensen didn't say that, but it's the hardest thing to be an entrepreneur, because you're going against all odds. You don't know whether things will pan out or not. You're always selling. You're selling to customers, you're selling to employees, you're selling to investors. So it's hard. So that's where I would say I spend the most amount of time. The second thing you try to figure out is the problem these entrepreneurs are solving. Is it really a painkiller or is it a vitamin? Mm-hmm. And if it's a painkiller, hopefully it's for more than 10 people, more than 1,000, more than 10,000. If it's a consumer, actually for billions, if it's a consumer play. So you have to make sure the world is so noisy that if you're not solving a painkiller, you'll be in trouble. And then the last thing is, I don't look at numbers at the stage we invest. It's inception stage primarily or early stage, is try to figure out what is that one bet the entrepreneur is trying to make, and is that the bet which is going to help create a big company. So if I had to summarize it, it's people first, making sure the product they're building is for a big enough market with a painkiller value proposition. And if they had to pick one thing, what would that bet be on their moat? Because I'm not going to remember anything more after that. Right. And neither will they, right? Juggling one ball is hard, 2 harder, 3, 17, like I don't even know how to look.
That's very interesting. Another thing that you mentioned in your conversation with Jensen yesterday was the importance of going where the puck is going. We're all here to talk about AI. You know, the theme of this conference is AI ubiquity. Fair to say that is where the puck is going, and that is where you're focused on right now?
I think the puck has gone there. Now the thing is, the new tulips or the new roses called AI exist. What should VCs and entrepreneurs do in it, right? It's inevitable. It's everywhere, right? It's like water. I'm drinking it, you're having it, it's everywhere. So what do we do now?
We'll get to that thesis in a bit, but you've also lived through other big revolutions that we've had technologically in recent years. You know, we've had the shift to the internet, the cloud, mobile, and now AI. How is this one different?
Yeah, so I think the way this one is different is, till now, technology only has been a 10x disruptive force. If you look at, if I remove generative AI, for the last 40, 50 years, we've just been creating things faster, better, cheaper, better calculators, better PCs, miniature PC. I won't use a client, I'll use a web browser. No, I want the information everywhere. Those were like productivity enhancements. But all along, before NLP happened, we were slaves of machines. We had to learn the language the way machines understand it. Once we understand how to program, they can do things. But now, there is a 100x disruption which is happening. First, Now machines understand human language. So you can converse with them in your language, which is a big deal. It's a new form of human-computer interface, right? PCs were a new form of human-computer interface. So was the browser. So was the mobile phone. So that's one. Secondly, technology, thanks to people like Jensen, has gotten to a point where machines can reason now. They don't just automate tasks. They can research, they can reason, and they can take action. Essentially, it's giving birth to this revolution where you're going to have 100 billion devices, 10x the humans around you that can think, they can reason, and you're going to interact with them. So that's what is different this time, is this is just not a productivity enhancement. You're going to have 10x more workers, 100x more workers than you. So it's not only just going to be improving productivity, it's actually going to make humans superhumans. It's going to amplify our creativity, it's going to augment our capabilities, it will allow us to do things we've never been able to do before. And that's what is different, right? This is not just, hey, I have a graphical user interface, now I have a browser, now I have a smaller phone. Now you're going to be able to do things which you couldn't even comprehend you could do before.
Right. So you touched upon the concept of agents. We'll get to that in a little bit. But this is a great segue into your thesis, which is something you touched on a little bit yesterday as well. But for the benefit of the audience, let's dive deeper into it. You say that the era of AI will be the era of cognition.
Absolutely.
Jensen called it intelligence, you called it cognition. And we will have, just like we had SaaS, we will have Cognition-as-a-Service, so CAS.
Correct.
What does that even mean?
As a VC, you have to come up with some buzzwords to essentially just keep up with the entrepreneurs, right? Like, so you say, what could be cool, right? What could be cool? IaaS is already taken now, jokes apart, right? So I think this is our feeling. If you look at technology has penetrated all levels. It's at the infrastructure level, it's at the developer level, it's at the application level. Every human, every machine in the world wants to get smarter. That means I can't change the infrastructure. Data centers will remain the same, computers will remain the same. Developers aren't going to change. Business users aren't going to change. So a new hidden force is going to come and integrate with all these things. What does the human want? I just want to get smarter. Jensen calls this intelligence, but I didn't want to call it that because it would be IaaS. We say cognition, it's a broader word. So our belief is AI is going to get delivered as a service, and whether it is machines, whether it's humans, whether they're in consumers, businesses will be able to consume this thing so that they can work smarter, they can work better, and have better lives. So this is going to be a service like a hidden force, like you have air, you have water everywhere. It could come in this, it could come in Perrier, it'll be an invisible force that is going to be around you. But I think cognition sounds cooler. You don't go say like, hey, sell me intelligence.
Right. Well, invisible force, but you have to make visible investments. So speaking of investments, what, and you talked about this, like the plumbing layer, there's an application layer, there's the picks and shovels, there's the measurement aspect, there's all this other privacy and compliance stuff that comes along. So various areas as an investor that you could be looking at when it comes to this new cognition era. What excites you the most out of all of this, and why?
If it's okay, right? Like, since there are so many people in the audience, I would tell them what not to go do.
Okay.
Things which already exist. And I got paid by others to tell them that.
So translation, he has companies in his portfolio already that are doing that, so he's looking for something.
Exactly. Actually, I don't. So I think the first one is the LLM model space, overfunded. Lots of companies, the big players have been anointed. There's going to be like operating systems, a couple of big private models, closed ones, and a couple of open source ones. For the record, Mayfield hasn't invested in any, right? Secondly, So look at other things in the model layer. Model trust, model safety, model security, same thing. GPUs. I know there's a $2 trillion company. Mayfield hasn't invested. It's hard. That buck has sailed. There are too many startups, too much money. Go somewhere else, right? So if I had to pick one area where so I think those two areas is where most of the venture funding is. The next OpenAI, the next Anthropic, the next video model, this model. You have to think different. You can't just be the same. And the same is the case. I'm building a GPU chip, and the world doesn't need one. So where would I go? My feeling is businesses are going, like you had this concept, I'm a retail business, I'm going to become an e-commerce business. I'm a business, I'm going to become an e-business. I haven't used this word before. I think every business has to become a cognitive business, a C business. And there's going to be rise of a cognitive workforce where humans and AI workmates will work together and create net new things which weren't possible before. So my request, input to the audience and anybody who's going to watch this is think every persona that is around you. Doesn't everybody need a genie, right? I'm a sales professional. There's too much stuff to do. Shouldn't I have an AI sales teammate? I'm an SE. Shouldn't I have an AI SE along with me? Each one of us needs that. So I think like what happened at the application layer, there were tens of thousands of application software companies called SaaS. This is moving to the next layer. You're going to have cognitive assistants, what I'm calling CAS, cognitive teammates, cognitive co-workers everywhere. So this will be a cognitive economy with cognitive companies, with cognitive workers. And it was like e-business. There'll be some things which will be hybrid, means physical, some will be virtual, and that'll be the new world. And
So-
it'll be an exciting world.
You have made some investments to this end.
Yes, a
Just
few.
to, give more sort of a concrete example, can you tell us about
Sure.
what such an cognitive agent might look like?
Correct. Only one is announced because, actually two. So there's a company called Semaphore.ai. This is a company from the founders of Cloudera, Hortonworks, and Docker. What they're doing is they're allowing any developer or any business to use Semaphore.ai to develop, run, and manage an agent. So they're going to businesses and saying like, hey, do you need cognitive assistance? If you do, here is a development platform. You develop it in my studio, click a button, runs on the cloud, and I allow you to manage it. So that's going to help companies create these vertical cognitive assistants, if you will. As far as a horizontal one, we have only announced one, but you should assume many more are in the works, but maybe we have 3-4 others, but there are going to be 1,000 of them.
Right.
Entrepreneurs are going to create. Another one is called Newbird, Neubird. These are repeat founders who are basically creating a teammate for IT operations professionals and site reliability engineers, right? My site is down. Why is it down? People have to wear pagers. You get calls at night. It's a pain. Why can't a digital teammate do it? And digital teammate goes, figures out what's wrong, troubleshoots, and just asks human the question, should I hit reset on the website? If you're sleeping, you've already delegated. If you're awake, say yes.
So for these agents to be successful, they need to be autonomous. A lot of people say we're not there yet. So why are you so convinced and bullish on this right now?
Yeah, so I think in each of the examples I gave, I think humans ain't going away. Humans will always be in the loop. So if you look at the way the market has gone, we had robotic process automation, RPA. That market moved into chatbots. Now we have co-pilots. I tell them what to do. And then autopilots are coming. But human is always there. I don't think till it's not like I don't think self-driving is happening anytime soon with agents. Even in an autopilot, when you go into a car with Tesla or any other thing, human is still in the loop. And at the end, my belief is humans cannot be afraid of this new technology, this new flower. They need to take control at the end. We are the jockey. This technology is just the horse. Let's not get it the other way around, right? So my thesis is humans will be at the center. AI is a new technology. Agents are their assistants. So get used to using them and don't be afraid. When typewriter was used, people said, oh, I'll be out of job. When the computer came, right? Didn't happen. You just produce more docs. You grow your business. Same thing is going to happen now, right? So I think to me, I'm very bullish that humans are going to become superhumans. Humans who don't adapt and take advantage of this could become dinosaurs, but humans are smart, right? Again and again, new things have come. We fought COVID-19. This is nothing.
What would be your top advice to everybody to prepare themselves for the new AI era?
What I would say is always keep an open mind. Figure out what's your core competency and endorse and adopt this new wave that is coming and ride it and up-level your skills. Don't fight about the small things you used to do. If a coffee machine, it can take coffee process was so long to make. Now you press a button. It's not AI, but it is some automation that's happening. The coffee comes out, take it. If you don't like it, keep doing it manually. So I think I would just say, keep an open mind, endorse the technology, learn, and adapt. And figure out how you will be able to do things that you're supposed to do, which you weren't doing because you were doing all the mundane tasks, if you will.
Right. I have a coffee analogy for the thing you just said. Some people still prefer the French press, but everyone's adopting Nespresso. Am I right?
We should take
this is not a
we should take a poll.
This is not a paid promotion for Nespresso.
I always like taking polls.
We'll take a poll, but for now, we'll open it to the audience. This is supposed to be an Ask Me Anything, and I don't want to, take the monopoly here. So the reason I pulled out my phone is because we have questions coming in from the Whova app. Thank you to everyone who submitted. We're going to try to get through as many as we can. I'm assuming 2 to 3, so forgive me. But the first question for you, Navin, from one of the members of the audience is, many startups are building chips, and many such trends have come before, but none of them have caught up. What is different now, and do you see a bright future for chips again?
Yeah, I'm a big believer in a bright future for chip. Actually, I've been writing about it as the renaissance of silicon, because for those people who are technical enough, Moore's law, where every 18 to 24 months, the CPU speed could just keep doubling, has hit a plateau. So the idea that Intel or a new architecture will come up and every 18 to 24 months, things will be 2x faster is gone. And we heard that from Jensen yesterday. So just all innovation can't happen in software. There was a saying, software is going to eat the world. It already ate. Now AI is going to do the same. So I think we need to go back to basic innovation in physics, basic innovation in sciences, and come up with alternative architectures on what can be done at the hardware and the chip layer. What Jensen at NVIDIA, AMD, and others have done, that's one part of it. So yes, the accelerated computing, GPU, CPUs is done, but there's so many other problems to solve within that layer. And happy to talk offline, but I can give 10 examples.
We had a session on memory yesterday, which I thought was very interesting because that's another core component of how the hardware runs.
It's not only memory, it's the optical connectivity, it's the DSP you need within it, power, cooling. It's just, the whole thing needs to be reimagined. This is only one part of it.
Yeah.
Like what these accelerated computing chips do, they are like heat sinks.
Right.
They produce so much heat, you need to cool them.
Yeah. So one of the questions here says, Navin, how do you pick your winners? I think we talked about that with the 3 questions you ask people, but do you ever, and I want to go back to this because I asked you this then, do you ever use your gut?
It's all gut.
How do you, like you say, good people, but how do you pick good people? Do they have to be repeat founders? Does this have to be someone with this sparkle in their eye that you can somehow pick up on? What's that gut feeling? Try to put that into words.
Yeah, I think it's very hard to codify that. I think that's an art. Like, it's not a science. I think you need like 10 minutes one-on-one with an entrepreneur, and you can figure out, because degrees don't matter, right? Like, being repeat, first time doesn't matter. It's a new company. It's worse than perpetual license software companies, right? Because there you at least get maintenance revenue. Yeah, you did a company before, you're starting again, it's at zero. So there is something which has to click, and it's very hard to codify, right? And a new video is actually coming out on, somehow my team got me into doing these videos that you guys were saying, what does Mayfield look for in entrepreneurs? So that's what we try to do. So I would hold that back. It's coming in a few weeks. In that 10-minute, these are not questions, you start figuring out, right? And if I had to say just one or two things, I do want people to watch that video. I would say number one thing is they have to be team players. Entrepreneurs who build companies, they better have played team sports or admire it. It's not a solo business, right? This is not a game where you go play. Those are good games. Those are for solopreneurs where you play ping pong alone. This is a team sport. You have to get teams aligned to go after a mission.
I never thought I would be talking about Shah Rukh Khan at a tech conference, but like he says in Chak De, it's a team sport.
I write about it.
I know.
The other thing I would say is they have very high EQ. Everybody has IQ. They know their weaknesses really well. And they're smart enough, if they're team players, to surround themselves with other people who cover them up on those blind spots. And third, I would say they would put the company first, their team second, and themselves last. And that's very important, because you can figure out when an entrepreneur is pitching, how many times do they use the word I versus we. You go to their office, you ask for a meeting, you ask their direct report a question, the entrepreneur answers. After that, I just meditate, time has come to leave. Right? I'm just saying, you're building a company, I didn't even ask you a question.
Yeah.
Right? So company first, team second, me third. And if you, maybe there's an aberration once in a while. The I players also create companies, but that might be a black swan, but it's hard.
Yeah.
You heard from Jensen yesterday, right? Like, to create iconic companies, you can't create it alone.
Yeah.
Right? You just can't.
So we have just about a minute left, and this last question is very interesting because you're an early stage investor, and even I saw this question and I was like, this would be an interesting answer. A company has been in business for 10 years and is now breaking out. Will that be interesting to you, or is that a turnoff?
No, it won't. In this business, right? Like, you need to keep an open mind. Like, age is no barrier. Similarly, it is the same case for the age of the company, right? It has to just fit within the parameters of what ownership and what valuation it is in, right? If it's a late stage company, it's not for Mayfield.
Yeah.
Early stage means we never check how many years it's been around, right? You can try 5, 6, 7 things, nothing worked.
Yeah.
We're only going to give entrepreneurs the fresh break on what they're pitching. And at the end, companies can come from anywhere. They can have any kind of progression, but when they find the right market opportunity, and it's good if they've given 10 years, now they have 25,000 hours. You need 10,000 to become good at something. I'm assuming entrepreneurs are working 2,500 hours a year, so not 2,000. So 25,000, that's great.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to quickly squeeze in one last question.
Go ahead.
What would you do differently if you had the chance to do something again?
As a VC?
Yep.
As a VC, what would I do differently?
One investment you made or a career decision you made?
I think what I would say is my past list, the regret list of not doing companies is actually better than the ones I've done. I would just pick one of the ones I said no to and say yes to.
Okay.
Overthought. And even though I'm known for saying, hey, evaluate the people, but being human, I was lost figuring out the market. Can't make that mistake. Have made it many times and trying to not make them again. And that list is long and it's painful. Only trying to get better.
Speaking of markets, AI is a big focus. Any other industry that you've got your eyes set on for the next decade?
I would say it's going to be horizontal and vertical applications of AI everywhere. And what we are very interested in right now is how do people use large language models or variants of it to solve problems in science. So essentially now these LLM models understand human language. When will they understand physics to solve quantum computing? When will they figure out biology to figure out and chemistry to figure out life sciences or even solve problems related to nature? So I think this has to go from engineering into physical sciences.
Right.
And one needs to just keep an open mind in order to be able to go after those things.
Thank you so much, Navin. That is
it's a
the
pleasure.
end of our chat. For everyone here, Navin is very active on LinkedIn, little shameless plug, but he puts videos every week and they are worth a watch. And I'm sure all of you have questions, but a lot of them will be answered if you just see the videos, right?
No, if they give questions, there'll be more videos.
You can find him backstage. We're totally out of time. I also have a flight back to New York to catch, so I have to run. But you can find Navin backstage. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.